and welcome to the Portman Podcast, episode 201. I'm your host, Brad. This is my co-host, Eric.
How's it going?
And it's going to take a lot of effort to remember to say 200 instead of 100.
You said that, and I was like, what the fuck? Oh, no, he's right.
It's going to be weird for a little bit. But this week, I want to go back to the classroom, Eric.
Makes sense. It's a new year, new classroom.
It's 2026. I've made promises.
There are promises about something that I think it was called a distraction carnifex, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, distraction carnifex. We're going to do distraction carnifex for grading every faction.
Definitely not saying that in a weird way to have any like bait going on there at all.
No, distraction carnifex.
All right, so let's say the topic, I guess.
So say it with me. This week, we're going to be grading every faction's bench warmer.
Bench warmer. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so we really were going to do distraction carnifexes, but this was too good of a topic, and I just ran with it. It was such a fun topic, so thank you for recommending this one.
Yeah, the comment section definitely recommended this one. Well done.
Don't worry, guys. Distraction carnifex 2026, definitely a thing.
We've got 11 more months.
I wouldn't bait our entire audience for a whole year. It'd be very funny.
All right, so yeah, bench warmers. The fuck does that mean?
So rather than things that sit on the shelf and are bad to play, right? I loved the idea of bench warmers being units that sit on the home point all game.
All right.
And since anything could technically do that, we're going to need criteria.
That is true.
So first of all, this is going to be one of the few times we talk about points when we do one of these gradings. We're not just grading the model or anything like that. We have to get into the rules. We have to get into the points because that's part of why you would make something sit on a home objective.
Yeah, rules actually matter quite a bit for this classroom assignment.
And since rules are constantly in flux, that means this episode will be dated and you have to deal with the fact that the rules will have slightly changed. It's a fucking grading every faction video. You'll get over it. It's a fun, entertaining series.
But at the same time, I think there is some likely expectation that like these units aren't going to drastically change. Once a bench warmer, always a bench warmer.
It'll be really funny if our star student here is the one who changes drastically in like June.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. But I guess let's start with who our star student is.
All right. Well, I'll let you do the honors, Eric.
Yeah, it's orcs. And particularly the best orcs, the Gretchen.
The ones who aren't orcs.
The little grots are particularly good at sitting on the home objective. Let's just kind of break it down real quick. 40 points for 11 models. Pretty cheap.
It's so stupid. We were discussing this and trying to pick the A student, and I threw out there like, oh, Gretchen might actually be worth it because they're pretty cheap. Aren't they only like 65 points or something? And actually, like, they're 40. I was like, never mind. They get the A+.
It's kind of disgusting.
They cost an enhancement.
Actually, yeah. They've got a lot of OC. The Gretchen unit has 10 Gretchen and a runt herd. Technically, you could do 22, double it up. But like, we're just sitting on the back home objective. We're not actually trying to do anything there. So like minimum points, we've got still 10 Gretchen with 2 OC and the runt herder with 1 OC. So like, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's 12 wounds and 21 OC, which is a lot.
That would be great already. But they also have an ability that lets you roll a D6 if you're on the objective marker. And on a 4-up, you get a CP.
Yeah, so this is what we're looking for is ideally you want to be cheap, but we'll let some expensive stuff through if it is worth its point cost. You want to be able to affect the game from the back point ideally, or be very hard to get rid of. That's like the either or of if you can affect the rest of the game in some way from the back point, then you're doing something for the team while sitting there on the bench. Or if you're so hard to get rid of that your opponent would have to overcommit and you're just a safe 5 victory points every turn of the game, those are both your way to the A+ here.
And then depending on how many points, you know, can be better, worse kind of thing. But like, that's what we're trying to look at.
Yeah. And you want to be a good amount of a combination of wounds and quality of wounds for your point cost. Now at 40 points, it could literally be like 8 wounds and you'd already be a steal.
Yeah.
And this is 12 for 40 points. So you're good.
The Gretchen definitely know how to warm the bench pretty well.
And something that's going to come up with other stuff. Gretchen get a little bit of extra bonus point for me because they get both plus sides of you either want to be able to screen a large area against deep strike in your home field.
True.
Or you want to be so small that you're hard to target in any way. Gretchen are on 25mm bases, but there's 10 of them so they can still spread out and cover a large area due to the 2-inch rule. Like if you've ever seen someone actually like maximize the amount of space they can put a unit on, you can cover a very large amount up with the Gretchen if you have to.
Just because there are a bunch of them.
It'll depend on what your layout is and what you want to do in any specific game, but like you have all the options available in this case.
Yeah, honestly, that is a big part of being able to screen if necessary, but also like if you don't really need to screen for any particular reason, just being able to hide is also good. But let's see what the Adeptus Sororitas brought to the classroom.
No, I refuse. We always go in this order. We're going backwards.
We're going backwards. All right. So that's Space Marines.
No, all the backwards.
Oh. Not just backwards, in Imperium.
I'm ruining Eric's entire flow for this episode. We're doing Tyranids.
All right, Tyranids. This is an interesting one that I'm not entirely certain on, but let's talk through it.
Okay, I'll sales pitch it and we'll figure out what we want to grade it.
Okay.
Because I'm a pretty big fan of the Biovore here. And for a lot of these factions, feel free to make arguments for others in the comments section. This is one of the most open-ended answers for assignments. Everyone has so many possibilities because you could argue for a cheap character, a giant artillery piece, a small cheap unit,
a Baneblade.
You can argue all sorts of stuff for this to fill out the role. But I personally like the Biovore for Tyranids here. It's not as busted as it was at the beginning of the edition, but it's still very good.
I was going to say, there was a time when the rules of the Biovore were insane, but current kind of balanced Biovore, let's talk through it.
Okay, so minimum one model, 50 points, done. That's what we're taking here.
Pretty cheap.
It has 5 wounds for 50 points, which is not that great, but it's got a decent save of 3 up and 6 toughness, so it's all right. Importantly, it's a single 80 mil base, so it's quite hideable. And importantly here, this is the other type of way you can affect the game instead of being an ability that is a boon for sitting on the home objective. We've got the Seed Spore Mines ability, which lets you be an artillery piece with your main attack if you wanted to, or you can drop Spore Mines within 48 inches of the Biovore instead of shooting. And the Spore Mines, while they can't do actions or anything anymore, they are still useful because they will block your opponent's ability to deep strike because they are a unit in play. So this is huge for screening purposes.
And they do have an ability that I always forget about, but you did bring it up earlier of the Bio Minefield. Enemy units cannot start or end an advance move within 6 inches of the unit. So like it is kind of a roadblock and being annoying.
Yeah, it's just nice because it's like you can get a lot of field control in addition to this like just little 50-point guy who's sitting on your home objective. So you have a lot more effect on the game from your back line.
Yeah, a lot of the artillery style going on here.
Yes. And this is a really weak artillery piece. Like the Spore Mine is what you're doing every time, basically.
Yeah.
But the option to also just be a decent artillery piece is something that I would say will allow for this assignment. And I think a lot of people are going to get good grades on this one. I think there's a lot of good ways you can swing doing something useful for your home objective.
Well, like you said, there's the like sitting back on the home objective, but also still impacting the game is an important part of like thinking on what units work well as, you know, the bench warmer on the back point. Yeah, I think this is pretty good actually altogether. Cause yeah, you can just use the Spore Mine launcher gun artillery thing, or you can like clog up the board with the actual Spore Mines. There's a lot of potential there and it's only 50 points.
Yeah, it is crazy cheap still. I still think it's an A+. Like it's just a different way of doing what Gretchen are doing.
So I'm not sure about an A+. I think it's an A.
What do you want to take points off for? I've thought of things and I think I'll agree with you if you bring them up.
I don't think it's particularly amazing at being able to hide.
Yes, the 80 mil base is a little bit larger than I was hoping it would be because I actually thought it was on a 65, but we double checked.
If you can't screen, then hopefully you can hide. And like, yes, I think you can probably hide in a way, but like, I don't think this is easy to do that. So altogether, like, I mean, the Biovore is a great bench warmer. I don't think it's the A+, the like extra perfect kind of thing. I think it's an A.
All right. That was the one thing that I was like, yeah, that's the one thing that I was thinking could hold it back. And you did bring it up. So that's fine. I'll settle for an A on that. I do like the fact that it can screen very well though, just because you can target the Spore Mines in other spots on your backfield.
That is true. I don't know. It's tough. It might be A+ worthy. It's on like the cusp cusp there. Being able to fling those spore mines around is pretty good. But let's take a look at what Tau has for us then, because there was a couple.
All right, so Tau had a couple options. We looked at like Dark Strider, who has the 12-inch deep strike screen. We looked at the fact that if you add an ethereal to a unit, you get CP gen on a back point,
which is a great part of the grots. Getting CP is pretty powerful.
But by the time you add ethereals to a strike squad, we looked at strike squads as a baseline. I think the answer just ended up being, when we like mathed it all out, was the Kroot Carnivores.
Yeah, so this is 65 points for 10 models. They're 1 wound, 6 up save, 3 toughness, but they do have sticky objective.
Yeah, so sticky objective gives you the ability to, if you have to, you can leave the point and it still remains yours until the opponent moves something on it to take it over. This is good not just because you could leave, which I don't think is worth that many points in the bench warmer.
It is a bonus.
It's a small bonus, especially if you're doing it for screening purposes, because you could leave, not be touching the back point, but be defending it because you're trying to screen it out. But again, that depends on your board and if there's like walls in the right spots for where you want it, all that. The more important part is this is a cheap unit that dies easily.
Yes, because dying easily is a bonus.
No. Because of that, you want an ability that mitigates the one downside you have. So sticky objective is really nice for these cheap units that might not have a different piece of utility to guarantee that 5 victory points all game, because now your opponent has to kill them. They can't just pot shot them off the board because you still have the sticky objective there. So they have to now follow up with something actually going over to your home objective to take it to stop you from gaining those victory points.
So I think there's another part of Kroot Carnivores that help that, trying to not just get pot shotted off the point. They have stealth. So if you make a range attack against them, there's -1 to the hit roll. So it's like that extra little bit to also make kind of more difficult to get pushed off the point.
Yeah, it helps because like their save of 6 up is awful.
It's terrible.
So -1 to hit kind of acts like having a better save.
The stealth is not going to be amazing on Kroot Carnivore, but it's not like that with sticky could actually make some decisions for your opponent, like if they want to even actually dedicate shooting off to them kind of thing. So like the big point for Kroot Carnivores is 65 points, 10 models. It works.
Yeah, and it is 10 models on a small base. I still think it's pretty good.
Do we want to bring out like switch hitting potential? So like primarily we're going to be focusing on these are the bench warmers, but like sometimes you need to make them do something else.
No, I don't want to give you bonus points for that, because I know you're thinking about the scout on this.
Yeah.
But it is not affecting your ability in this assignment to warm the bench.
All right. I'm with you on that.
I get that it means you're more useful in other scenarios, but that's not the assignment at hand.
Right. Like it makes it better for the list building in general to have those kinds of things, but not part of the assignment. I'm on board. So the Kroot Carnivore aren't probably doing amazing.
No, I have trouble saying anything bad, though. They're worse than Gretchen at everything Gretchen is doing, but not by a huge amount.
That's a pretty big amount.
I mean, save-wise, they're about the same. Wound-wise, they're slightly worse. OC-wise, they're very slightly worse.
Points-wise, they're noticeably worse.
Yeah, points-wise, they're noticeably worse, but it's still on the very low end of what we're going to be talking about. Ability-wise, they are worse, but it is still a boon ability. Is this just like our B for the day?
I'm thinking a B. It is a solid bench warmer.
Okay. I do think that we're going to get hate because we're going to have things that look wildly different that are going to get higher grades or same grades, just because there are different ways to be a bench warmer.
Yeah. Speaking of Necrons.
This is an interesting one. We, in my opinion, do not have the greatest of bench warmers.
Which is weird.
We have a lot of very good units.
Yeah. And like one of the things about, we've brought up is, having several models that you can like screen out with, and like having them more difficult to kill was great. And so like Necron, reanimation, all that stuff kind of makes sense. But also that just works better in like mid-board clogging up the opponent than sitting back.
Yeah, things that are better in active combat do not help as much with bench warming, where your plan is to just not get shot in the first place.
Right.
So what we ended up on is actually the Hexmark Destroyer, which for people who have done lists of like current Necron play in tournaments and stuff, this isn't completely alien. So the reason you would play the Necron Destroyer here is T5, 5 wounds for 75 points, which is all right for Necrons. We're very expensive point wise.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You're not getting Gretchen.
No, reanimation protocols is a slight problem for that type of stuff.
Yeah, so the big part here is the defensive profile has lone op. So not being able to be shot from far away really minimizes your risk of randomly getting shot off the board because someone could angle shoot from far away, down a line of sight. Very easy to hide.
Yeah, you have to be within 12 inches. That's honestly pretty strong. Like defensively, that is going to be annoying for a lot of opponents.
Yeah, so your main way to deal with the X-Mark Destroyer is to actually send something in close to deal with it, which is it can actually shoot back. And then if you're trying to melee it, it's got the inescapable death ability, which lets it do a free better overwatch.
I mean, let's be honest, it's not going to be amazing in combat.
No, it's really bad in combat.
It has potential to defend itself, so your opponent does have to commit some amount of resources to dealing with it.
Yes. I think that defensively, this one is up there above like the Biovore.
Yeah.
It does not affect the game as much as other things do, though, is its big problem.
It basically doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect the game at all, but it is a lot harder to remove off an objective is trying to hide for.
And it does a great job of hiding. You can kind of just like put it in a safe spot and forget about it and just keep scoring your home objective. It is still 75 points, but it's not too bad, especially for Necrons. Where are we looking at for this one though? I don't think it's amazing.
No, it's not A+.
And I don't think it's like it's definitely not C tier.
No, it's somewhere in the B's in my head. I'm just debating where. It's got a nice small base. It's got the lone op. It's so good on the hiding aspect. Is it just a flat B?
I feel like it's flat B, maybe a B minus.
No, it does its hiding job well. I know this one from practice, so it's at least a B.
All right, we can go with a B because like it doesn't do anything other than sit on the objective and hide kind of thing.
But when most of your army is going to be in giant death balls of unkillable warriors who get res 55 times a turn,
Yeah.
and Catan shards, a 75 points to get 5 victory points every turn is good.
Yeah. All right. So a B. Let's move on to Leagues of Votann.
So Leagues of Votann was a weird one for us.
There's some new units.
Yeah, a lot of these had a lot of different ways you could go. We basically had to coin flip this between the Memnir Strategist and the Earthshakers, who are a infantry artillery unit. We ended up going with the Strategist. I just think it's more interesting to talk about.
Yeah, the artillery is like it has indirect fire and like it's fine.
But it's like not very impressive indirect fire to begin with.
Yeah. So the Memnir Strategist, 45 points, 4 wounds, 5 toughness, 4 up save with a 4 up invuln. That's pretty cheap for some reasonable defense.
The big thing for me, though, is it very much affects the game. So it has Computational Mastermind, which lets it control yield points, which we haven't really gotten into, but that is the post-Codex army rule for Leagues of Votann. So being able to increase your yield points or drain them every turn while it's on an objective is really nice. This is a lot like the CP generation ones, except this is guaranteed every turn and is very important for how Votann play currently.
Yeah, it is on a similar power level and it is guaranteed as opposed to, roll a dice 4 up kind of thing. It's pretty good because like if you're able to properly balance and plan around your yield points, up and down kind of thing, that creates a battle plan. And being able to do that for 45 points sitting on the back holding your home objective, that's nice. That's really nice.
I will say that defensively, it only being 4 wounds for 45 points compared to something like the Gretchen,
Sure.
it's a little disappointing. Now, the save is better. The 4 up invuln is nice because, like you're saving at least twice as many things as the Gretchen are.
Yeah, you're actually saving stuff, which is good. Continuing to talk about the defensive part, it's got no real like fight back kind of. There's no threat.
No. Look, this guy is going to do literally nothing except for think about stuff.
Yeah, and if they commit like any amount of resources to dealing with them, it's gonna disappear.
But it is a single 32 mil base that you're hiding. It does mean it doesn't screen that large of an area, but it's all right.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is its ability. If the yield points are like actually worth it for affecting the game while sitting on the back point.
Yeah, and I think that part is really strong. It's really iffy for me for the lone character with no lone op.
Yeah, if it had lone up, man.
Because like once you add this to Steeljacks, it's too many points for me to think it's getting a good grade anyway.
I mean, like you could technically put them with the Vulcanite Disintegrators to have like a shooting profile. It's not too bad, but like it's only 24 inches.
No, and then you're putting them at risk risk when you just want them holding the back point.
And like the Ironkin Steeljacks are like 85 points for 3 models. And like you start getting into this, like you're fighting yourself kind of thing. Like if you're going to put them together, like properly make it an offensive idea, doesn't really make any sense. But the Memnir Strategist on its own for 45 points is cheap.
It's somewhere between C and B for me. I don't think you're ever getting me to argue above a B.
No, this is definitely not it.
But it has a very useful ability and very low point cost. So it can't be that bad.
I'm feeling like a B minus just because like the yield point stuff affecting the game just feels so powerful to me. And maybe I'm off base on it being that good. I haven't played against Votann with this new yield point stuff. So it seems strong to me though. So I feel like a B minus.
All right. B minus is probably the right spot for it. We'll go with that.
Which leads us into Genestealer Cults.
All right. Genestealer Cults, there's a couple options, but one is a slam dunk for me just because it fits the job so well. Acolyte hybrids with auto pistols, specifically because the abilities change between which weapons they have. So everything in Genestealers can do cult ambush stuff and deep strike stuff and all that. So we're not getting into that portion. The important part here, they are 65 points for 5 bodies of 1 wound, only 5 up save. Not great. But they have claimed for the cult, which is at the start of your command phase, roll a d6, 4 up, get a CP, as long as it's not an objective marker. So you put this on a home objective and you farm CP all game, just like you do with Gretchen. Yes, it's more expensive, but also it's Genestealer Cults, so you're not really dead when you die.
And like there is potential about using the cult icon.
Yeah, you have so few wounds.
It's a little weird at 5 models to lose out on one of your Acolyte hybrids, the models, pistol.
The pistol doesn't matter though, so it's fine to do that. But like the chance you can actually pull this off is near 0. Just bring it back with points if you have to.
Yeah, that's true. Sure, you can probably just put it on there, but like it's not actually going to do anything realistically, so kind of ignore it. Honestly, it doesn't look particularly good to me until you realize that like it's still Genestealer Cult and they have nonsense to bring things back and be annoying with cult ambush and all that.
Yeah, it's a bit like what Necrons has, except for it is cheaper and has, in my opinion, a better coming back chance than you have for anything reanimation protocol wise with your hex mark.
You can kind of more plan around the expectations, like turns in advance kind of thing, like create a battle plan with an expectation of what's going to happen.
I think the Acolyte hybrids is probably still a solid B. Like defensively, they're bad, but points wise, they're still on the cheaper end of things.
They're not like super cheap.
Yeah, but well, for most factions, this is super cheap, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the level of a guard.
Yeah, and having the CP farm ability is really nice.
Yeah, the CP gen is very important. So, all right, a B. Makes sense. Pretty good, though.
All right, Drukhari with a strange sounding pick at first, but it was the obvious choice here.
Yeah, I was not prepared for this one. I left it to you because I would have screwed up.
Yeah, Eric was like, Kabalite Warriors, I guess.
I did not like it, but I think we found a good one, though.
Yeah, some people will argue take things out of a Venom and use an empty Venom or something. In my opinion, the correct thing is always going to be a Chronos. Chronos is only 55 points to run a single Chronos. It's 7 toughness with a 3 up save, 6 up invuln, 5 up feel no pain, 7 wounds.
Yeah, 55 points.
Yeah, 55 points. The thing is not worth killing for its point cost.
No, it isn't.
It has very useless amounts of attacks in both melee and range. They're not important in this.
They technically exist, so like you can use them, and that's fun.
Yes. But the real big thing here is it has the Pain Engine aura ability. This means it's able to refund pain tokens within 9 inches of it on a 5-up, but it is basically working kind of like your CP farm works, except for in this case, it's for your army's faction rule.
Yeah, similar to the yield CP, those types of generators are really important, especially if you can keep them like, you know, doing something by like holding the back point, the home objective, and also like staying alive is good. Like the longer you can take advantage of these point generators, you know, the pain engine, the yield points, that just gives that extra bonus. Like you're really taking full advantage of the unit.
Right. And it's really nice with this because while it's only within 9 inches for being able to refund stuff, it's a single 60 mil flying model. So like it's not that hard to move it around and keep it within the area of like at least your mid board guys who are doing stuff to get, you know, a few refunds all game. And that's good enough for the 55 point model.
Yeah, I was not prepared for it being 55 points. You brought this up and I was like, yeah, it's pretty annoying, sure. But like, it's not that cheap, right?
Yeah.
55 points is pretty cheap.
Yeah. And combining that with how defensive it is,
Yeah.
I think it is a slam dunk, at least A minus.
I do wonder about an A, honestly.
Again, at least A minus. I don't know how high we want to go.
I don't think it's an A plus just because like it doesn't do the everything.
It is easy to hide. It doesn't screen huge though, but it's very defensive compared to Gretchen. And it does affect the game similarly.
Yeah, it's somewhere close to an A plus. I don't know if it's quite there for me.
I kind of want to give it to him. I'm a little biased because I like when Drukhari get a win because they do bad when we compare things to typical Space Marine tropes.
Yeah, that's true. I think the Kronos can get an A plus, but I have some hesitation just because like you can play this poorly by not like staying within the 9 inches and actually getting advantage of the paint engine. Like you can screw this up and it be not good.
Yes. I will say this is one where usually when things are towing a back objective, they are doing it like from the far back, like barely touching the objective behind like some final wall.
Yeah.
The Kronos is the opposite, where you will put it slightly in harm's way because, again, it's that single 55 point model. If your opponent puts way too much shooting into it, it's a different type of win for you.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the one where a lot of the time you'll be playing it on the front end of your objective, trying to stay relevant, which is a weird, different way of how you would play most of these.
Oh, absolutely. But I do think we have to like grade on the unit being used to its fullest. And so I think it's an A plus.
I am good with it. I will take it all day. Now, Aeldari, they don't have the Kronos.
No, they don't.
Nor do they have the amazing taste of Drukhari in our amazing leatherware.
That's it.
They do have sculpted belly buttons on their armor, though. So let's go with the Storm Guardians.
All right. Yeah, we've got 11 models, 110 points. Oh boy. The Storm Guardians themselves are 1 wound, 3 toughness, 4 up save. There's a platform with them that's 2 wounds, 3 toughness, 4 up save.
Yeah, it's not a great start.
Yeah, I mean, they also have Sticky Objective.
Which is good because they are going to die if they get found.
Yeah.
They get a 5-up invuln though, so it's not the worst. Like 4-up save's not great, but 5-up invuln means like even if something of quality is shooting at them, you're saving a third of your shots. It could be worse.
The technically have weapons that like can do stuff, but like I'm also not wowed by them to be like, yes, we're gonna sticky objective and then move them to go kill stuff.
Yeah, that's not happening.
There is 11 models, so you've got a 40 mil base and then 10 other like 30 mil ish bases. So like you can screen reasonably well. I'm starting to grasp for straws a little bit, if I'm going to be honest. It's 110 points.
Yeah, I don't think this is that good. I think it's probably C territory.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's a C minus if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, probably C minus, honestly.
Yeah, like a C itself was pushing a little much.
It's not overly great defensively.
No.
It doesn't affect the game.
Nope.
It doesn't hide that well compared to anything else you could be doing.
It does okay at screening.
All right, screening. Has sticky objectives, so there is at least one ability that's a boon for the job. Yeah, that's about it.
That altogether is not amazing. So yeah, I think a C minus.
All right, I'm good with it.
All right, what are we going next? Chaos, Imperium?
Let's do Chaos next.
All right.
Imperium can wait, god damn it. We finally have one where we don't have to deal with Space Marines right away.
Saving the best for last, I see.
Sisters?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm excited. They've got a great bench warmer, I think.
I actually think Sisters is a good one. So World Eaters, it's the Jackals. Spoilers for most of Chaos, it's the insert your cultist.
Basically.
So World Eaters, the Jackals have sticky objectives. They're only 65 points. They're cultists with an okay melee profile, all things considered, honestly.
Yeah, it's fine. Which, this is World Eaters, so like having a decent melee profile is good. You can probably take advantage of that. There's 10 models at like 30 40 millimeter ish base. I guess 40 for the Dishonored. So like screening, totally doable, but man, they are gonna disappear if anybody tries to even look at them scary.
But they are small bases like Gretchen. So I can't really fault them in any way, just like we didn't fault Gretchen for it, because they are also quite cheap. I do think they are worse than Gretchen considerably, though. Sticky Objectives is fine, but it's not as good as the CP gen ability.
Yeah, because the Jackals aren't actively affecting the game for most of the time, unless, you know, your opponents come to try and kill them or something.
But they hide okay, and the Sticky Objectives mean they are very likely scoring you that 5 victory points most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that does mean with screening that, like, you can get on the objective sticky and then, like, screen as needed in other spots a little bit, depending.
Yeah, you can leave the objective slightly to get behind a wall and spread out as much as you can to deny a big deep strike area.
Yeah, staying kind of hidden and all that stuff. So, like, there is play there, but man, it's not altogether amazing.
No, it's still likely somewhere around the Bs.
Ooh, maybe 65 points is pretty reasonable.
And it's 10 models, not 5 like it was with Acolytes. Like, this is still really solid from a wounds per point perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's much above a flat B, though.
No, it's fine. I think flat B is about where I was thinking anyway.
It seems fine at that.
All things considered, for how small Korn's range is, this is all right.
Yeah, we'll bring it up, but like there was always the Chaos Spawn, but like World Eater's Chaos Spawn is not sitting on the back point.
No, it's really good, but not for sitting on back points like you would expect. It's for advancing and charging turn 1.
Thousand Suns. Your Chaos Spawn is maybe.
Our Chaos Spawn is my pick, but the Zongor are worth shouting out.
Okay.
We had a couple options. I think if we're judging pure bench warmer, I'm going to say Chaos Spawn. But Zongor have the cool switch hit stuff of they have the ability to just zip off the board back into strategic reserves at end of opponent's turn. It's their ambushing hunter's ability. This is cool for when you need to redeploy for some reason, if you need secondaries or whatever, if you're trying to screen a different area later or whatever. Lots of use cases that are not bench warming.
I do think that like the Scout 6 with the redeploy stuff has some potential with making a bench warmer of like, you know, try and do something up the board and then run away to the home objective. But let's take a look at the Chaos Spawn for the actual submission.
Okay, so this is 2 models on 50 millimeter bases. Very small, 65 points. However, defensively, it's kind of nuts because they have a 4-up save, a 5-up invuln, a 5-up feel no pain, and they are 4 wounds each, so 8 total wounds for this 65 points of much higher save quality than we were getting with the cultist equivalents or the Gretchen who don't even save.
A 5-up invuln, 5-up feel no pain is pretty annoying.
Yes, it's 4-up save, 5-up feel no pain if they try to just volume of fire it.
And they do have an ability that like is also very annoying.
Yeah, you can't really just pot shot them down with like freebie shots because at the start of each player's command phase, they recover 3 lost wounds. So that is a full heal anytime a spawn is not fully killed every single turn, both players.
So like you really do need to commit to dealing with the Chaos Spawn. It isn't one of those just like, oh yeah, I'll just, you know, kind of shoot him off the point back there as I am dealing with other things. Like these are going to be pretty annoying. And if you do end up split firing, you can just end up doing nothing. So that's going to suck.
I really like them defensively speaking. Like there's a reason Thousand Suns competitively we tend to run. We even had like, I didn't even bring up the Segatar robots. We use them mostly offensively because of the infiltrator ability on them. But we have a lot of really good point holders on the cheap. Between our robots, our Zongor, our Chaos Spawn, they all get used differently. But yeah, there's a reason that we've been able to do all sorts of stuff in balanced competitive lists. But
I think the fact that the Chaos Spawn are cheap, they're really difficult to deal with, means that you can kind of just like park them back there and forget about them. Honestly, the Chaos Spawn aren't doing shit for the rest of the actual game. They're not affecting it at all. They don't do anything.
Nope. Their job is to earn you those victory points. That's all they're there for. That's fine because our whole army is full of headaches. So I'm okay with a unit I can forget.
Yeah, I think this does pretty well. I think for Thousand Suns, this scores even higher.
Yes.
Just because you have all of those other options as well. And like being able to have this real annoyance in the back that you can just set, forget about it, guarantee basically. It's nice for Thousand Suns.
Yeah, especially because you're usually worried about all of our other tricks anyway.
Yep.
Eric has experience with this,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the amount of like, oh shit, and then you can teleport this guy away, or oh, then this guy can move differently, so I can't get rid of. Oh, now he's gonna fly to the back point on turn 4. This is gonna heal.
The Thousand Suns versus Grey Knights is fun. It's a headache, but it's fun.
Yeah, so I don't know. Where do you want to put the Chaos Spawn? I'm not gonna argue for an A+ on them,
No,
but I do think they score highly.
it might be an A-.
I would take an A-. I think that's about right. I was waiting for you to argue B+, but I like A-.
Just because it's Thousand Suns and this works so well for them.
Yeah, within the context of the army and what it needs, it works extremely well.
Emperor's Children, you don't have many units, but we'll find one.
Yeah, let me go through all of your non-demons real quick. Oh, we're done.
Yeah, let's go with the Tormentors, mostly just because they at least have something. Like, they have sticky objectives. So, like, we do have a reason. They're 85 points for 5 models.
But it is 10 wounds for 85 points, not the worst. And they have real saves because they're Space Marines.
A 3-up save is pretty good. So, like, defensively, it's not that bad. 4 toughness, sure, whatever. They are Space Marines, so, like, they have weapons. They can fight. Not the most exciting, but, like, it happens. And they do sort of have a way to gain CP. It's just that that doesn't usually happen when you're sitting on the back point holding the home objective, because you have to destroy an enemy.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count, bro. I'm not giving you that one.
Come on.
Nope.
It's a CP generator. It's just
No.
you have to be throwing yourself at the enemy. They've got sticky, right? So like you sit on there, you get sticky, and then you run and get kills and CP gen. And
The funnier part is they also have Infiltrator.
they do.
Because, like, Emperor's Children is all about the aggro portion. Like, I have trouble looking at anything in the options here and being like, this is obviously your backpoint holder.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it just being Tormentors and just knowing that that's just not how EC tends to play.
It really isn't.
There was argument for just Noise Marines because they stay back more, ? There's not good options here. EC's not scoring well.
I feel like Noise Marines with the old weapon profile that was like 36 inch range could have been, but like they're 18 inch now.
Yeah.
It's not really what the units in Emperor's Children is trying to do. So because they are a more finesse aggro style thing of like, okay, you can kind of hide a little bit, get the sticky objective, and then just fucking go, kind of works for them. But at the same time, it's not great for a bench warmer overall. How low do you want to try and pull this, man?
Where did we put Eldar? Like C-? I think this is about the same. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's only like technically doing everything we need.
I feel like it's slightly better than the Aeldari.
That's just because you play this one.
Well, it's cheaper. It's only 85 points.
It is cheaper for actually a better save profile.
And like it is kind of better defensively. It doesn't have the same screening.
You can have the flat C.
I'll take it.
I forgot. Those Eldar are expensive.
They are, aren't they?
All right. Death Guard. It's Poxwalkers. We made argument for do we do the mortar? Like you could do the crawler, but it's like over 200 points for a mortar.
There were a couple others that like maybe sorta, but just I don't know, man. The Poxwalkers are pretty good.
Yeah, my problem is like, once again, they're infiltrators. It's real weird to ignore their infiltrator status.
True, it is, but also additive distraction.
Should it just be Plague Marines because they have sticky?
I think the Infiltrators is additive distraction here. We've got 10 models for 65 points. They've got no save, it's 1 wound, 4 toughness, like that's all pretty shit. But like they have an ability to come back after being killed kind of thing. So like they are kind of annoying to deal with. And they have a 5-up feel no pain.
It's so rare for them to actually kill something to come back though. Like unless I send like horrors against them.
That is true. It does make it more difficult. I don't know, man. It's not amazing. But like the Plague Bearers were also not amazing. They had sticky objective, but they were 110 points for 10 models. So like they weren't getting better than Aeldari.
And just because of how demons are treated in these codices, I'm iffy on including them in the main Marine codices.
Right? So like we're at Poxwalkers, which because they have a 5-up feel no pain, it's not the most embarrassing at 65 points. With 10 models, 25 mil base, you can hide these really well if you need to.
Yes, that is a boon.
And like you can also screen pretty fine. It's very similar to the Grots for the hiding and screening potential.
But they don't affect the game in any way and are not that much tankier than Grots.
No.
Like 5 feel no pain is not bad, but that's all it is.
Yeah, because like 7-up save. Right.
It's the funny number.
It's probably somewhere in like the C tier.
I think it's a C minus. I have the same feeling as I do for Eldar for this one. I just feel like it's not great at it.
Yeah.
I do wonder if like having something else give sticky objective and then parking the tank on it is just a way better use of your home point.
Probably.
I just don't know if I would rank the tank better. That's why I'm like trying to think right now if the Plague Burst Crawler is actually the pick and it would be higher than a C.
It's probably about similar just because it's so many points.
It's a lot.
It is actually a threat that the opponent is willing to commit resources to dealing with. And so like you have this unit that is trying to hold your back point, which optimally the opponent would try and take over your home objective.
Yeah, that is itself drawing your opponent to the back point rather than being something they don't want to have to go deal with. I get what you're saying.
Right? So it's like, ooh, I get to commit my resources to killing this annoying tank and take over their home objective. I'm in.
Yeah, it depends on the opponent and stuff, but I do see the problem there. I still wonder if it's higher than like the 70% this thing's getting right now. It's fine. This is what Death Guard submitted at the end. We're fine.
Yeah, I'd C minus for both of them, somewhere around there.
If they had a smaller artillery piece, I'd say that's the pick and it would be much higher. But goddamn, the Plague Burst is a lot more points than I thought it was at first.
I mean, it's really good. It makes sense.
It's a good unit, but it's bad as a bench warmer.
Yeah, I guess that leads us into Chaos Space Marines then.
Guys, it's the cultist mob.
Shock.
It's what we all knew it was going to be. It's a 50-point 10-man model that has sticky objectives.
And no defensive ability at all. 1 wound, 6 up save,
It's got a 6-up save. That's better than the Grots.
3 toughness.
Yeah, but it's like barely more points than the Grots. It has a different type of ability that's useful. It is totally fine. They are on the exact same tiny bases. I think it's damn near A+ tier, if not just A+ tier, because it's just a different way to do the Grots.
I don't think it's A+. I think it's an A. I don't really think that giving an A+ to something that doesn't affect the board makes sense.
Fair in any way at all. Sure.
If the cultist mob had like any amount of scariness so they could actually use the sticky objective other than like screening potential and like hiding it, which is all, that's all great. I'm not trying to make this a bad bench warmer.
No, it's still an A, but I get your point of like it doesn't have the oomph to get into the A+. I'm fine with this being a solid A though.
Absolutely. Knights. Ooh.
Okay, Chaos Knights, hear me out. This is fantastic.
Yeah?
We're not even doing a War Dog.
Chaos Knights typically don't do particularly great. They almost always submit a War Dog. Bench warmers so far have been, let's make sure that the points aren't too high, right? Like 210 was a lot for the Plague Burst.
You
Crawler.
just complained that cultist mobs don't affect the game.
That's true. I did.
Ignore this. A Knight Tyrant for 410 points.
All right.
This is the opposite end of things. If you can't hide something small, because I'm not letting them submit Chaos Demons homework, they cannot just splash in a Beast of Nurgle to hide on a back point. You have to pick from your range, and if they're going to do it, they're going with the Knight Tyrant. The Knight Tyrant has a fuck off massive 170 by 109 base with a 12-inch deep strike denial aura.
Honestly, that is some pretty damn good screening.
It's huge. Put that base down on a field, put it on a home point, and measure 12 inches from that base and look at how many miles away anything has to deep strike in. You are not getting this point stolen from you without knowing a turn in advance.
All right. Definitely not enough on its own for 410 points, though. Luckily, it is a big knight still, which means that it's got 28 wounds, T12, and a 3-up save, 5-up invuln against ranged attacks.
Yeah, you're not hiding a Knight Tyrant. In fact, we're looking to do the opposite with it. You're going to just boop the wall to shoot through everything and blast half the board with a threat range with your giant guns.
Yeah, there's a lot of guns, aren't there?
There are a lot of guns on this thing. Look, it's got options. I don't want to go into them all, but the point is it can do a lot of damage to something that is mid-board, we'll say. I'm not going to say you're going to hit anything backline, but like this is going to park on your home objective wherever it fits and can get a decent line of sight on the board, be a threatening monster. This is not the most competitive thing. If we're going the most competitive, you're splashing in a Chaos Demon, and welcome to how Knights actually plays. But like from a casual standpoint, this is affecting the damn game while sitting on the back point the entire game and not moving ever.
So I was kind of down on the Plague Burst Crawler of like, oh, you've kind of like overcommitted, you know, the like home objective and a thing something that I want to deal with, great, I'll go for it.
So the Plagueverse Crawler, we didn't get into it, but it has the issue of it only has one indirect fire gun. So if it's actually trying to hide properly, it's only firing with that. And then it's got like, you can either do the flamer setup or the entropy cannons, whatever, which are direct fire, one short range, but is good if it gets charged, yada yada. The Knight Tyrant, though, is just going to blast anything it can see, which is a large chunk of the board, at least on your side of the board.
Yeah, it's you're gonna have to commit a substantial amount more to dealing with the Knight Tyrant. It's to a point that like the Knight Tyrant is taking over this game. You have to figure out how to deal with it, which is annoying.
The correct way to deal with it is usually to just play KG on mid to make sure you find ways to score points while being just out of line of sight of it.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not the most competitive option. However, I still think it's good enough for this.
Yeah, I think so, especially because like it is still a Chaos Knight. We're not trying to do any shenanigans.
And honestly, from a just lore of this series standpoint, I'm just happy the Knights are submitting their homework. They're not submitting the War Dogs for no reason again.
Thank God.
They have a clever solution to the problem given their skill set.
Yeah, it's not an A+. Just gonna say that.
No. I'm not even shooting for the A.
I do think it's in the B range though, honestly.
That's basically what I was thinking. It's the fun alternative solution to the problem that I think is a really fun B.
Yeah, it just feels weird, but at the same time, kind of right to give it a B. It does the job, it sits on the back, but like it's also shooting a bunch of stuff. So that's fun.
All right, let's go to Chaos Demons. We've actually discussed the model previously, but it's the Plague Bearers. They're really solid.
Yeah, it didn't really make any sense to bring up the demons in the ones that could only really use them in one detachment, but Plague Bearer is pretty good. So let's actually talk about them in Chaos Demons. There was potential with the horrors, but
yeah, we looked at horrors, but I think they're better on midboard to begin with because they're such a good mosh pit.
Similar to the Necron issue of like there are good models that would kind of do the thing, but like they're just gonna do better if you push them midboard.
Yeah, they're better when you're investing and making your opponent invest against them. They're not as good for just being ignored in the back. Whereas Plague Bearers here, 110 points, which is a lot.
It's on the higher end.
However, it's 20 wounds
Yeah.
with a 5-up invuln.
That's pretty good. 5 toughness. I guess they technically have some melee weapons that do some stuff, but like
Their melee is not the worst either. Like it's a normal chainsword. It's solid.
it's fine.
The thing is, like, they are very difficult to remove for their points cost. Their points cost is higher than you want it to be. We looked at things like, again, there's also the Beast of Nurgle if you want to minimize. It's what Knights actually use when you're actually looking at lists.
But like they have Deep Strike, Scout 6. So like if you're not doing Knight stuff, sometimes you want to do other things with the Beast of Nurgle.
Yeah, I think Plague Bearers is the right call here.
They do have Sticky Objective as well.
Yes. So these are your, if I can't affect the game, I am going to sit there and not lose this point ever. I don't think it's an A+, but I do think it's high.
At 32 mil base, 10 models, they can screen well.
They can screen well, and because they're the type of thing that doesn't care about getting pot shots at it because it's got such a decent defensive profile, it's just a lot of wounds to eat through and it's got an invuln.
Yeah.
You can just screen and not worry if they can see you from certain corners with the unit or two. You don't care about like getting shot at unless it's like a full commit.
Yeah, you don't have to quite hide as much. Like you can still do it, especially like if they have taken some shots and like you've lost a couple models.
Yeah, then you hide the last few of them in a corner and you're fine.
So I don't think this is amazing overall, but I do think it is pretty decent. The real problem is the 110 points.
Yeah, it's the problem of you can't take cheaper than this for it, but you get so much for the 110 compared to what you get for like a 50 in a different army.
Yeah.
That like it's more than double what that army would get for the same price.
So it's probably B tier, but I'm thinking B minus, honestly.
I was thinking B+.
B plus, huh?
It does the never dying so well.
But it also, I guess it does screen pretty well.
Yeah, it screens really well.
It's 110 points to hold the back objective.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that don't die do it because they can hide well, whereas this one can do it while screening, which we'll get to when we get to an Imperium faction I'm thinking of, where I think it does quite well doing the screening portion.
Yeah, because there is some hesitation of like, yeah, that unit could screen pretty well, but like it's not able to even take just like random shots from bolters just that are just like leftovers essentially.
You don't don't ever want like a cultist mob.
Yeah.
If it gets angle shot by like a decent tank sidearm that's like got a large amount of shots to it, you might wipe the whole cultist mob on accident.
Yeah. And so like there is some hesitation to using it as a screen because like it could just disappear and not even for like a real commitment.
Yeah. Whereas they have to fully commit to killing the plague bearers. And you're just like, if they're angle shooting it because you're screening out like in your backfield, they're not going to do it all in one attack.
Right.
So then you just lose the part that is going to be visible to them and you screen out what's left. And then you can adjust after that if you want to, you know, ball up after that point or what. I really like it from that angle. If we're like actually thinking about how it gets played here, I like these a lot.
I think you've convinced me. I'm good with a B plus. I feel like it's slightly optimistic, but I might have been too down on it for a B minus.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're very into the point cost part, but like the guaranteed victory points all game for just doubling your point investment at still what is 1/20th of your full list.
Yeah, that is true. Part of it is also I feel like I was getting distracted by the deep strike a little bit.
Yeah, every demon has deep strike.
Yeah.
If you're a demon, you have deep strike.
Which is good, but something that you just kind of ignore for sitting on home objective.
All right. So speaking of a certain Imperium faction that the Plague Bearers were reminding me of.
Yeah.
Space Marines.
Very similar.
So infiltrators here. For 100 points, I only get 10 wounds, not 20 wounds.
True.
They're only T4, not T5.
You get a normal 3-up save though.
You get a normal 3-up save though, but no invuln. But they have a 6-up feel no pain, which is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, the infiltrators here are pretty solid. They also have their ability to deny deep strike within 12 inches of them. This is really nice, even though there's only 5 of them, so you're not getting as much coverage as you would with the demons we just discussed. You get a smaller physical footprint that still denies as much area, so less chance of getting shot in the first place.
Which honestly is pretty nice to be able to like kind of hide while also having a larger area of denial for screening purposes. Just kind of best of both worlds on that a little bit.
Yeah. They also have the funny bonus points. If you want to commit, you can add for 70 points, so we're up to 170 points. Libyan Phobos armor gives them stealth in addition to no shooting them from outside of 12 inches.
That is pretty good. That's honestly really defensive.
It's the like, this is too costly for what I would normally have us look at, but this is the true, this unit will not randomly disappear. Your opponent had to run up to it with some melee thing to destroy it. You saw this coming for turns.
Right, because like the stealth and can't shoot it for more than 12 means that like it's not just getting randomly shot.
They anti-deep strike 12 anyway, means there's no way they got deep strike charge. There's no way they got deep strike shot.
Yeah, honestly, that is pretty good. And like these are still Space Marines. They can fight a little bit. They've got decent base profiles. Like they do work. So you can't just like throw whatever. Like you have to commit a decent amount. But 170 points just sitting on the back.
Yeah, that's rough. That's why I don't think the Libby version is what I would grade. I just want to grade the infiltrators. But the option of the Libby is a boon to the infiltrators.
Yeah, but I think grading the infiltrators and then giving just like a little bonus of like, hey, you could have the librarian is like, okay, sure. So, but like the infiltrators themselves, pretty decent defensive. Screening's great. They can fight. It's 100 points.
Yep. It's the better screening compared to footprint, but you lose half the wounds of what we just had in the Plague Bearers. Slightly better save. So we'll say 50% of the wounds.
Yeah, the feel no pain is pretty nice. I feel like I like them slightly better. I don't know if it's an A minus, but I feel a lot better of a B plus for these.
No, I had them in my head. I had them exactly with the Plague Bearers. They are both B pluses in my head.
To me, the infiltrator squad feels like that's a B plus. It's a great B plus. Whereas like the Plague Bearers are like, all right, I can be convinced kind of thing. So it's good, but it's also not like amazing. And I don't think the librarian pushes it up to an A minus. That just like solidified the B plus to me.
No, I think that is a perfect spot for him. And honestly, considering this wasn't even one that Space Marines was like slotted to do great in, still pulling off a B plus is impressive. Though with 120 friggin' data sheets, of course it is.
They had a lot of options just because. Let's move on to Imperial Knights though. We did see a lot of potential from the Chaos Knights. The Imperial Knights brought...
It's an armiger. So the Armiger Helverin, whatever, the Helverin. It's only 140 points, which for Knights is cheap.
Yeah.
It does affect the game because it has actual decent shooting from the back line. It actually is somewhat similar to one of the other options we had in Genestealer Cults, which was the buggy, because the buggy can do debuff shooting. So Helvern's here. The autocannons are solid. It gets 4 attacks with it, ballistic skill 3, and then it's a 9-1 flat 3.
There's some scary guns.
Yeah, and it's 48-inch range. So like you're just looking to, like, instead of like hiding like most would do, this one's trying to get some corner lines to get some pot shots in.
You're optimally using this to try and shoot things while technically staying on the point.
And the reason we're doing this is because it also has suppression protocols. So as long as it shoots something that's not a monster or a vehicle, that thing gets -1 to hit rolls.
And 140 points. It's got 14 wounds, T9. It's got 3 up save, technically a 5 up invuln against ranged attacks, which can matter. But like that's a decent amount of wounds.
It's not a high grade to me. It's actually lower than the Tyrant, which is funny because this is closer to the point we wanted. But this is not the true alternative programming the Tyrant was.
This is feeling closer to the Plague Burst crawler of like you've added a juicy morsel to like commit to. Because like Tyrant was like, oh yeah, we're sending half the army over there or it's not going to do shit. The Helverin isn't quite at that point, but it's also only 140 points in comparison. So like, I don't think this was bad.
I don't either. I don't think it's A. It's probably not even B, but I do think it's within like high C's.
I was thinking it might be a B-, honestly.
Really? Okay.
But I could see a C+.
I was thinking C+, but I could be argued up to B-, but I do feel like it's somewhere in the C's for me.
Yeah, it's probably a C+. Like 100 mil base, it's got a decent amount of screening potential there just because like it's big.
Knights just always have issue with screening because they have so few actual units.
Right. So like you can't realistically screen well in Imperial Knights just because like you don't have enough models if you're bringing only Knights and not cheating with Imperial Agents.
Which I know is the real answer, but we're not letting them submit someone else's homework.
Yeah, it's probably a C+. I'm fine with that. Fine, let's talk Imperial Agents.
Honestly, this one's kind of neat. So, Voidsman at Arms, former problem, for those who remember earlier in the edition.
You don't say.
It's exactly what I told you it would be, too.
Well, I mean, there's been a few Imperial Agents models that have been potential problems.
But every time it's until the next data slate, and then it will be back to irrelevancy where they wanted it in the first place.
Yeah.
But anyway, Voidsmen at Arms are on 25 mil bases. There are 6 of them for 50 points as long as we're in Agents of the Imperium, which we will say we are because...
Yeah.
And simple T3, 1 wound. They have a 4-up save, which is honestly pretty decent compared to what I thought they were going to end up with.
Yeah, that's true.
The real problem is they don't have an ability that matters.
No, they don't. They do have weapons that like they can fight, but it's not great. 25 mil bases, there's 6 of them. They're honestly not screening that well. They can hide, but they're not doing anything other than hiding and hopefully keeping the objective.
Yeah, it's still a low score. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I looked at assassin characters and other stuff. I still think these just being so cheap makes them just worth it compared to any of the other tricks they could do. When we get to the types of homeworks where we have to look at data sheets, Imperial Agent suffers.
Yeah, and like some of the other options, just like you could technically put them on the back point, but they just work better in other aspects. So you would be doing, like, you would be having the characters move out to go assassinate other characters. So it's not great, but I mean, it's not like the Voidsmen at Arms are failing.
No, but they're not doing stellar either. To me, they're in the C's and it's low.
Where in the C's? C or C-? I could be argued either way, honestly. So let's give them a C.
I think because they have 0 relevancy other than they are cheap, they have to be C-. They do nothing we've asked for other than be cheap.
Aw, but they're Imperial Agents. Come on.
No, they're 50 points for only 6 wounds.
Yeah.
No, I can't go above C-.
Yeah, I mean, if they had like any little bit extra, if they had a gun that could shoot from a long range, just one unit had like a 36-inch, maybe 48-inch range to like just be annoying. But all right, fine, a C-. Let's move on.
Oh no.
To Astra Militarum.
No, you missed one. We have to talk, Eric,
I don't know that we did.
about your son's homework.
I don't know that we did actually miss anything here. Oh, fucking hell, Grey Knights.
There's the disappointed father right there.
I mean, the Strike Squad.
That's all you had, huh?
It exists and it's like one of the cheapest things you can do.
Just so everyone is aware, we worked on show notes for like 4.5 or 5 hours today. We spent probably an hour trying to scrape anything together for Grey Knights that would be clever. There isn't anything. It's the Strike Squad.
It's all bad. It's all bad. And like the Strike Squad will hold the objective reasonably well. That's good.
Only reasonably.
Yeah, a lot of their like cool stuff, like, you know, the Deep Strike, Scout 6, all of the teleport shenanigans that Grey Knights can do, don't really do shit for sitting on the home objective.
Nope. The one thing they have going for them is they have a psychic spell that is not just a generic ability anyone else would get. They let their psychic abilities give them sticky objectives. Wowee, I love 10th edition. I fucking love this edition so goddamn much.
To be fair, sticky objective is better when the unit can go do something useful.
It's true.
And Strike Squad can go do useful things. They're not amazing at doing other useful things though, and they're 120 points.
Yeah, they're a shitload of points for how little you're getting.
There was like potential about like talking like, oh, let's just park a Land Raider back there, and that does sometimes happen, but remember, Land Raider is some of our best anti-tank, so it needs to go do things.
Yeah, and the thing is like 240 points minimum.
Yeah, I think it's like 220, but same idea. I guess technically the Purgation Squad is 115 points.
The problem is it had no sticky objectives. It would have dumpstered. You would be actual D.
So there isn't anything. And honestly, it is very annoying.
Yeah, if Purgation Squad could still normally shoot through walls like they used to have the ability to do, like if they just had indirect on everything, then I would say then, okay, cool, they're an artillery piece. They'd probably score quite high. But they don't do like they used to in 9th edition.
And it's not like they had great range, so...
Yeah, but at least it would be something.
It would be something.
Strike Squad, though, you've got sticky. You are extremely expensive for not that much better wounds than anything else.
I mean, it is a 2-up save, though.
It is a 2-up save, but there's no invuln. It's fine.
They're reasonably tanky. It's not amazing.
Not amazing.
But it's not nothing either. How low does it go?
I don't think it's the lowest thing ever. Honestly, you might still be above Eldar. Just looking at Eldar versus you right now.
Eldar was 110 points.
You might pass with an actual flat C.
That is true. I forgot Eldar was 110 points. We're better than Eldar.
It's shocking.
The Strike Squad do way better than Eldar. For that extra 10 points? Yeah.
I think you get away with a flat C somehow, even though it feels so wrong.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Absolutely a C.
You didn't even deserve this, by the way.
It is honestly one of the more annoying things. But let's move on to Astra Militarum. And boy, do we have a lot of options.
Yeah, IG players, you have so many choices for this. We got it down to a top 10.
It turns out they have a lot of cheap units that have a bunch of models in the unit, so it's kind of annoying to deal with.
They also have shitloads of artillery.
Yeah, they do.
So there was a lot of options. The one we finally landed on, because we just thought it was the most interesting of the bunch, is the artillery team, which is the new Krieg artillery piece. Earthshaker Cannon would be what I would call it for the old Forge World one. But I think this is the one we're going to go with for what we grade. You had the Basilisk. We almost memed with the Death Strike, the Manticore, the Wyvern, Field Ordnance Batteries, heavy weapon teams, blah, blah, blah. Every generic infantry you can name, all sorts of options all over the place, but the artillery team is really fun. So this thing has toughness 7, 10 wounds with a 3-up save, all for 95 points.
Yeah.
And it has not embarrassing shooting that's indirect. So it's got a bunch of different options we could go with here, whether we do the siege cannon, the rockets for the anti-infantry, the quad launchers ass, the heavy mortar.
Yeah, in 48 inches, indirect fire, you're probably going to be able to shoot something.
Yeah, and to be honest, most of these are relevant shooting, like strength 8, AP -1, flat damage 2 with D6 plus 3 attacks, blast.
Yeah.
That's a solid baseline, and that's just the heavy mortar, and we could get into if any of the other guns is more correct to pick.
It also has an ability that sort of technically matters. Like, it can cause a battle shock test.
I think it does. It helps how relevant it is to the game.
Yeah.
Like, we meme on battle shock, but the fact that this is essentially a 50-50 battle shock anytime you target something.
It's not something that you want to rely on, but it can impact the game in addition to just killing shit, which, yeah, is nice. We haven't really brought up too much on the aesthetic side, but these look cool.
They do. A lot of the things in this episode have been like just boring little backpoint holders. This thing is sick.
Like some of the models that we've talked about, great, very cool. But like, man, this one, that extra little cherry on top. I think the artillery team does a great job of being a bench warmer.
It's cheap. It definitely affects the game. It doesn't hide well, but it zones like crazy. It's a 130 millimeter base. The base is almost the size of a whole objective, and then it has a 9-inch deep strike protection because it's a model.
Yeah, honestly, it does a reasonable job of screening. It's not like amazing, but the way it does that means that it can't really hide. That's
No.
okay. It is going to impact the game as well. And 95 points, it's on the higher end, but it's not that much, especially coming from the strike squad at 120.
For the same amount of wounds and just a slightly better save, but with way lower toughness.
Yeah, I was like T7 versus T4. Yeah. Is it so an A?
It's definitely an A. Do we go for the A+?
Ooh.
My mark against is it cannot hide,
No, it can't.
but it definitely affects the game in a bigger way than most things do.
True. And it's like, it's not that expensive. Like, it's on the higher end, but it's not wow.
And while we're not giving extra credit this time, which we've done sometimes, the fact that we had to narrow down to a top fucking 10,
That's true.
I think we just give the A+ because like even if this one doesn't eke it out, one of the other options would have covered the week. Like we had so many to choose from.
Yeah, like maybe the artillery team wasn't technically the best. We had to like properly go through all of them to find like, oh, this is the one that's not just an A, it's an A+. Yeah, I'm good with that. A+ Astra Militarum. Well done. Adeptus Mechanicus. You have a bunch of cheap models. I know this.
Unfortunately. They're not cheap on the shelf though in the store.
Yeah, that is one of the problems.
So we had options of just going for like ultra cheap with a chicken or whatever. We went with the Skitarii Rangers in the end. 85 points for 10 models, 10 wounds. It's got a 4-up save with a 5-up invuln, which is pretty damn impressive.
Especially for AdMech, yeah.
Not embarrassing weapons. Like it's not bad in any way, but getting into the relevant stuff, there's not much here other than it's got sticky objectives.
Right. The saves are pretty decent, but this is not that defensive, right? Like it just isn't.
No, I think the saves are quite solid though for 85 points and
Yeah.
10 wounds. They're in a middle ground we just don't have an equivalent of that we've been through. I still think it's pretty decent. It's not A tier for me, but like they're a solid B. And again, like there's a couple ways we could have gone if we could have just gone for the cheapest thing or whatever, but I think they're a solid B. They've got the sticky, they're the small 25 mil bases, but there's 10 of them, so you can do a large screen if you have to, depending on the situation, but very hideable.
I mean, there's also potentially the oval arquebus.
Oh, yes, the silly, yes, the Aquabus or whatever it's called.
The fact that they're on 25s means that like they're pretty decent at screening and they can hide pretty well. So like you can choose like, oh shit, they've gotten in a bad position, quick hide. Yeah, I'm fine with a B overall. Nothing particularly amazing, but it gets the job done. They can shoot 30-inch range. There's some things that can be done there.
Yeah, they don't have like completely zero weapons. They've got a couple decent quote unquote heavy weapons infantry wise.
I like the quote unquote heavy weapon, looking at the heavy tag.
Yeah, I don't mean like heavy the tag because then we get into but I mean like large anti.
You look at a heavy weapon, strength 7, and go, yeah, funny. So yeah, I think altogether B makes sense.
Now, Adeptus Custodes.
Are you going to do better than Grey Knights?
They did. But not by too much. So for 40 points in Custodes, for 40 points, like this is a huge boon.
That's true.
Prosecutors give you 4 freaking wounds at T3.
3-up save.
Oh boy. But don't worry, they've got a 3-up field of pain against Psychic.
God damn, Psychic's awful. Yeah, the Anathema Psychana section, particularly the prosecutors, because like they're slightly cheaper than the other two. They do have 2 OC, so like maybe that technically matters because there's only 4 models.
I don't like thinking that matters when they are 4 wounds at T3. That OC, they will never be on the point with something trying to kill them. They are gone.
Yeah, it's unlikely. But hey, 40 points in Custodes particularly, like 40 points is pretty cheap in general to be able to hold your home objective, but but like in Custodes, this is necessary damn near.
To put this in perspective, 40 points is tied for the cheapest thing on the entire list. And this is Custodes, a faction of extremely elite, expensive models.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is it literally just exists to hold the point. It has no boon for holding the point. It doesn't affect the game in any way. It is here because it is cheap in Custodes.
Yeah. 32 mil base, 4 models, like you can hide them, I guess, but you're not really screening shit. So it's an A plus, right?
No, I'm not letting you get away with that. I don't think it's bad. I'm trying to figure out how much I'm giving it bonus points for being cheap in Custodes.
That does matter.
To me, this is like if you didn't have to splash to get a cheap piece of shit model in Knights.
Right.
That would be a nice thing for Knights for a lot of scenarios. But just for like this assignment, that would have gotten them out of having to find alternative means to do things. I think it's somewhere in the B's. The problem is it does nothing we asked for, which would normally be a C.
Yep.
But it's extremely cheap, which is a boon, and it's extremely cheap in Custodes, which is a double boon. So I think it bumps all the way up to a B area.
I'm on a similar trajectory of like in a vacuum, looking at it's like C plus, B minus ish, but it's Custodes. So like, yeah, it might be like just a solid B because like, man, is it cheap.
Yeah. To put it another way, the Rangers in AdMech, for 85 points, you got 10 wounds with a 4-up save, 5-up invuln.
Mm-hmm.
If we went all the way to the 10 model Prosecutor Squad, it's 85 points for 10 wounds with a 3-up save.
Yeah.
Yeah, their weapons are dog compared to the AdMech weapons, and they don't have the sticky objective ability. But again, we have the 4 model mode on this, which is what we're actually saying here. I'm just showing like when you scale these up, they're still all right, even by the standards of other armies.
This doesn't like technically matter, but like that extra little bit of you can choose the 4 model for 40 points. You can also choose 5 for 50, 9 for 75, or 10 for 85. When you're in Custodes, sometimes you just have some extra points laying around because you couldn't get the full like perfect 2000 because Custodes units are so expensive.
That's true. That's honestly a good point, is the actual variability might be a minor extra boon. I feel very safe saying a B then.
Yeah. So it's just like a few of those small little things. I think we can defend the B.
For our final one, Sisters, and it's honestly really good.
Yeah. We've got the Sisters Novitiate squad.
Eric learned how to say the word novitiate today, by the way.
I'm still not completely convinced that that's correct.
Novitae.
Something like that. So we've got 10 models, 100 points. And how do we break this down? Because there's 9 of the Novitae and then 1 superior.
It doesn't matter. The Novitae is most of it. They're 4-up save, and then the sister herself gets the 3-up because she's got the power armor.
6-up invulns, 3 toughness, 1 wounds.
But they have abilities, Eric.
Yeah, there's a couple abilities that like, I don't know, they're offensive and like don't really matter, like mostly. But we do have one that's pretty important, and that's the Simulacrum Imperialis, and this one lets you gain miracle dice. So similar, like Grot's got you CP, well, this one's giving you miracle dice.
So on a 4-up, this gives you a miracle die of the shown value. It gives you high quality miracle dice 50% of the time.
Which is strong. We've rated all of these like value generators pretty highly because it is important for your backline sitting on the home objective to give value or to do something for the game. And getting good miracle dice is pretty nice.
Yeah, and for what is for Sisters a cheap unit, that's really nice for your home objective.
Yeah, I mean, it is still 100 points for 10 models, which is still 10 wounds. Like, it is cheap for Sisters, but like, it's not cheap.
Yeah, but like 10 wounds for 100 points with real saves is basically where all the Space Marines were. It's cheaper than some of them.
Listen.
While having a relevant ability and having the boon of being on smaller bases. So you can still spread them out quite well for screening, but you can hide them slightly easier. It's only slightly, but slightly easier.
But like, it does matter. That is that extra little bit. And like, the weapons and other abilities do matter in case shit happens. It's not amazing, but it is pretty decent potential.
They're honestly not even that bad in melee in a pinch. They've got their offensive mode. Like, they have Infiltrator, which we're not getting into because it's not the point of this. And they have the ability to advance charge, and they get reroll ones to hit.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid if they have to do it, but that's not the point of what we're judging here.
It's just one of those like little bits of if things happen, bonus point.
All of your edge cases are covered. You don't have to worry about the, well, what if this happens?
This would be one of those like if you could field a 5 model unit here.
This would be A plus.
For even like 70 points. Like not like I actually cut it in half. Like you could have that be more.
Even at 70, I still think it'd probably see A plus here just to have a 1-up for a back point. As it stands with 100 points for 10,
it's good.
It's at least an A minus. Is it a solid A? I think it's an A minus.
I don't think it's an A plus. Miracle dice are really nice to be able to get them, dude. Man, I want to give it an A. I'll be honest. There's just all those like little bits and pieces.
All right, look, I can be convinced into an A for it. I'm good with that.
All right.
I see the argument for the A. If you want to give it the A, we go for it. I'm good with that.
I think so. It's a good, strong finish here since we flipped the normal schedule off.
The funny part is if we had gone in order, they'd probably get a B because we always do that to sisters. You go first. Well, I just saw my A plus. This is a B.
So true.
And then you get halfway through and we're like, nah, this is like solid A minus, and people will be in the comments screaming, the sisters was better than that.
Yeah, literally better in every way. What is wrong with you? It worked out to Sister's advantage this time. We do have some news before we fully wrap up though.
Yes. So when this airs over the weekend before, we should have streamed a whole bunch over on our Twitch, which you could find us on Twitch as Poor Hammer. But the VODs from that should be up over on Solely Singleton if you want to go check them out. We played Path of Exile all weekend, I hope.
Oh man, I hope.
That is currently the plan. So if you want, you can check out the VODs over on Solely Singleton, or you can go hang out with us on future streams over following us on Twitch. We're just Poor Hammer.
We also launched some new merch, limited time. So take a look. It's pretty good. New t-shirt. We got black and white. We got hoodie, zip up, and normal pullover and sticker.
And I have to say, it looks really good on a hoodie now that I've seen one.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that to sell it. We're not getting rich off selling these. So I just think it looks good.
I also think the sticker actually came out pretty well. Maybe I should be shilling the hoodie since it's more expensive and we get more, but like it's all good, okay? I like this art. Take a look, poorhammer.com. We've got the new merch. It should be like right at the top because it's new. Remember, limited time. It's going away in April.
Also, coming up in March is Adepticon, and we will be there. We will likely be doing something there, but we have no plans cemented yet. We don't actually have a show or anything there. So don't make plans to go there because of us. But if you're there, we will likely make mention on social media in some way of us trying to do a hangout or something.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty fun. But I do think that is the news for this episode, unless there's something else.
No, there's one more thing, Eric.
Oh, no.
If you liked this episode, you love this series, you adore me as a person and this show, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/solelysingleton where you can join great patrons like Little Mike in supporting the show. And we've got producers, Eric.
They are 3D Frank.
Aetherian, networking with demon princes.
Anyone else hate the new Space Wolves detachment? Hashtag Mike Spainblade.
Ava Tech Adept.
Blastmasters are translators for dubstep weebs.
Breaking news, In and Out has scrapped the order numbers 67 and 69 after viral trends cause chaos across multiple restaurants.
C5 Dynamite.
Charles Lang.
Commissar Kruz, Pegger of the Imperium.
Corvus.
Demolition Man.
Gilgamesh Versus.
Grant Yost.
Halo Gamer 2005.
Yon Guy C.
Kiwi Fruitbird.
Lip Loop Bloop.
Leah.
Loaf of Disappointment.
Mr. Squigums.
And J. Harlan.
Pizza 00100.
Robohop.
Sam Brown.
Scott the Jim Crab, Mr. Fastastic.
Something Cracker Barrel, I'm out of name ideas.
That moiety.
The Dark Angel's Deathwing armor isn't actually that color, they are just slathered in mayo.
The fucking God Emperor of mankind.
The terrible Toledo Tickler.
Tier list, please. Hashtag I will never forget.
Victorian Batman.
Wargame Simulator.
Well, the pegs start coming, they don't stop coming. Filled to the brim, so I hit the board running. I did it with a straight face for the most part.
Yeah, most part. What's the matter, Tex? Having trouble keeping it up? Don't worry, it happens to everyone. But not me, you know?
Why do the Space Wolves have a Primarch named after the fruit when the Dark Angel's Primarch is named after a furry?
Thank you so much for supporting the show. Also, I feel like I was baited to the Patreon intro. I thought you were going to do the normal like YouTube pleasantries by the way it was going, but
Right. Also, yeah, shit. Everyone already clicked off the video, but if you could do the YouTube pleasantries, that would have been real nice. I fucked up. I'm sorry.
we'll get them next time.